All right, Eric, you're on.
Grandpa, can you tell me about your father's restaurant in Chicago
Sure.
and kind of Depression era and what he was doing,
Yes.
what he was
Well,
doing?
it's very interesting. Uh, my father was an immigrant, came to New York, and this is in the early 1910 area. And he worked at in New York City as a waiter in one of the great hotels there. It's, I think, is still in existence. And I don't know why, but he came to Chicago and also worked as a waiter in a restaurant called Madame Galley, and he also worked at the Sherman Hotel as a waiter. And Sherman Hotel was downtown Chicago, Clark and Randolph. Anyhow, I guess one day the owner of the hotel told him, "You shouldn't be a waiter, you should go in business for yourself." Wound up opening a restaurant on Milwaukee Avenue, just south of North Avenue. It's in the 1920s we're talking. What happened then was what changed my life. I was going to school, Wicker Park School, and I was 5 years old, which meant I'd go to kindergarten. Well, my mother thought going to kindergarten was a waste of time, so she told them I was 6 years old. They put me in first grade, so when I was 6, I was in third grade, which really changed my whole life. I would never met Faye and married her. Anyhow, you get back to Dad. He opened a restaurant on Milwaukee Avenue, and it was quite well known and doing very well. And I don't know how or why, but he made connections with another restaurant man who had a place in Division Street, and by the name of Weisskopf. And they got together and they moved downtown Chicago, right on Madison near Clark. They opened up a restaurant. In fact, you went down the stairs to the restaurant. It was in the basement. And they were there for a couple of years when I guess a good spot opened up on Clark Street near Madison, and they opened up, they just moved over. They call the restaurant W&R, Weisskopf and Rice. They're very successful. And then this opportunity on Clark and Randolph, right across the Sherman Hotel and the City Hall, and a lot of theaters around there and other very famous restaurants were located. And they had this opportunity that a restaurant was going out of business, or at least it expired. I don't know exactly how they managed it, but they opened the restaurant on Clark and Randolph. They were open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, never closed. And this is in the early 1930s. And I have that menu from 1935, which I've made copies of, keep sending to people. It's really beyond belief, prices of the food. And all the entertainers from the shows, some of the great names in history, would come in there after they were through performing in the theaters, they'd come over there and have dinner. And they were there for, I think, at least 20 years. It was a huge success. His partner died, whether he jumped or fell off the pier and drowned. They don't know whether it was an accident or it's deliberate, but and he wound up in the lake and drowned. And my dad took over the restaurant completely.